Yeah,
Cool.
she's pretty cool though.
Um, so let's talk about Scandal because I know everybody wants to talk about, wants to hear you talk about Scandal. You get this amazing role on a television series that runs for 7 seasons, and you're amazing in the show. Um, and you played the president of the United States.
Yeah, yeah.
And but there's this other side of you. Well, let's talk about that first, and I'll ask you the next question. What was it like for 7 years, for 7 seasons, working on a fantastic, well-respected show? How did you feel being the president?
It was fantastic. It was more, I had never wanted to do a television series because it was a big time commitment. And when early in my career, like we just talked about, it was career death if you wanted to work in movies. And then when that all changed, by the time in the late 90s, early 2000s, I'd become a director and I didn't want to commit to a long series because it would mean I couldn't direct. And also my kids were younger and I didn't want to be like away. And anyway, so I'd always said no. And then I saw it changing so much that I thought I better be smart about this. And one year I was like, okay, I'm going to really look at what's out there. And then miraculously, Shonda asked me to be a part of this. It was just so that's where luck fall. It just literally fell in my lap. We had known each other because I had directed an early episode of Grey's Anatomy, or in the first 2 seasons of Grey's Anatomy, I directed, some, and then I did an episode of Private Practice for her, and so we were friendly and had a good experience there. But I hadn't talked to her in years, and then I guess they were thinking, Sean was like, who's the president, Tony Goldwyn? And so they checked me out. They're like, he's interested in doing a series, and I don't know, it fell in my lap. And I read it and thought I really wanted to work with Kerry Washington because I knew her a bit and I just really admired her work tremendously. And I thought, Shonda Rhimes and Kerry Washington and the President of the United States in an interracial love affair like that, like
Oh, I lost that. Okay.
this could be really good.
Right.
So did I freeze
And it
up?
was. What's that? No,
Did I
I
freeze up?
lost the sound for 1 second. Hmm?
Oh, sorry. No, I was just saying it sounded like a combination. So I did it not knowing what it would be, and it was just fantastic. And mainly because obviously Shonda's a unique, extraordinary talent, and the group of people, the cast was an amazing group of people. So we just had it was a blessed time.
Yeah. And work. If you were offered a play, a film, or a television series at this juncture of your life, or directing, what would be your first choice?
It sort of depends on what minute I'm at, depending on what I'm in. Right now, I really would like to direct a film because it's been since before Scandal, that I was able to direct a film. So you and I have a project that we're very excited about together.
Yeah.
So that would be my first priority, but it really depends on what comes up at what time. You can only plan so much, so I just try and put my energy into like that. And I really also been putting a lot of energy into similarly to direct and produce a television series. But everything is.
Don't forget your friends when you're casting it.
Yeah, for sure. And so you just you try and push, honestly I try and push on every front because you just never know
Right.
what's going to work out. I've been through phases where I was like, I'm doing this and then shut out all other opportunities. And then when that doesn't come to fruition, suddenly you're left high and dry. And so now I try and push hard on all fronts and see what pops up.
Who are your heroes?
Oh boy. Again, I have so many. Oh my God. Ralph Richardson was an acting hero. I gotta say, this sounds sentimental. Barack Obama, I think, is a hero of mine. God.
Someone is asking, is Kerry Washington a hero?
Kerry Washington, my hero. I'm not going to give her the pleasure, if she ever sees this, of having me say she's my hero, okay? So that's just going to remain between me and myself.
Okay. Okay, my friend.
um,
No, but
yeah, no.
you're a really good guy.
Well,
Like
thanks,
a
Lois.
normal guy, and no, you are. You're like very normal, which is not. You know, I mean, you don't.
Mm.
It's just kind of surprising,
Yeah,
considering,
I don't know. I mean,
considering the body of work, where you're from. You know, it's like you're just a really good guy. Why?
thanks.
Yeah,
Probably credit to my parents and my wife is my guess. Uh, I think in terms of humility, I feel like anybody who's going to be any good at what they do better be humble, in my view. Because otherwise you're driven by your ego and your sense of self-importance, and for me, that's always toxic.
we know
And I guess there
somebody
are
like
some
that
people
right
who,
now, don't we?
yeah, we sure do. But I've known very gifted people who are narcissists and are egomaniacs, and but are brilliant and sometimes geniuses. But that's not a happy place to live. Like that really is not, where you're completely consumed with your own lens, and everyone has to accommodate you, and your own self-importance is paramount to your sense of well-being. Um, it's a really unhappy, lonely way
Well,
to
I think
be
that
in the
comes out of
world.
terrible insecurity, right?
Yeah, and all those people that I know who are like that are really dark people. They
Hmm.
tend to have real lot of anger, and they're very lonely, and they often don't have a lot of love in their life, or they view people things as in a transactional way, and people are there to serve them. Being a megalomaniac is not a happy thing, and artists and actors and celebrities who are like that, I think I sense always a lot of inner turmoil and torment, and sometimes that quality is something that makes them very interesting and compelling to watch. Why we like what they're interesting, because there's a lot going on in there. But
Hmm.
I also would like to be a happy human being too. So
If you were going to win an Oscar, would you want it to be for acting or directing?
I'll take whatever they give me. Um, oh, I don't
What would
know.
feel more
I
satisfying
don't
to you?
know. I'm so like crazy about that shit. Like I literally make a big effort not to try and think in those terms, because they're the awards and all that stuff can be so toxic. So as a matter of personal discipline, I put that out. It's hard to even talk about it, but I guess putting in the realm of fantasy, uh, I don't know. I mean, I guess if you ask, directing would be amazing. That would be better, I think. I think that would be better. I would like that even more. As much as it would be super exciting to get that acknowledgement in any way, uh, to do it for a movie you directed, holy crap, that's very singular, I
Well,
think.
maybe that will
You
happen.
know what I mean? Like, I mean, they only give out one directing award per year, whereas they give out, two or four acting awards.
Right.
So who knows? But I've managed to get this far without either of them. So, I'm,
Well,
I'll be,
you've
I'll
got a
count my
long way to go
blessings.
yet. You've got a
Yeah.
long way to go.
Yeah. We'll
You're
see.
still
Yeah.
young.